Between Election Day and January 6th, the Trump campaign sent millions of fundraising emails to Trump supporters, sometimes as many as 25 a day. But as the Select Committee has demonstrated, the Trump campaign knew these claims of voter fraud were false, yet they continued to barrage small dollar donors with emails, encouraging them to donate to something called the Official Election Defense Fund. The Select Committee discovered no such fund existed.
I don't believe there is actually a fund called the Election Defense Fund.
Is it fair to say that the Election Defense Fund was another, I think we call it a marketing tactic?
Yes.
And tell us about these funds as marketing tactics.
Just the topic matter, where money could potentially go to be, how money could potentially be used.
The claims that the election was stolen were so successful, President Trump and his allies raised $250 million, nearly $100 million in the first week after the election.
This story is for anyone that supports Donald Trump, like feverishly supports Donald Trump with their money, with their time, with their appearances at these rallies, with following him all over the country, with buying his merch, all those things. This story is for you because I really want to know what your reaction would be. Because I put myself in a position of supporting someone. I think the only candidate I've ever given money to is Nina Turner. And I'm imagining if this was discovered openly and explicitly about the candidate that I support, I'd have to rethink the way I do things, but for some reason they can't. I really want to know how they break this down because there's details. This is crazy. So Amanda Wick there you saw was talking in January 6 hearings about this election defense fund or campaign defense fund, whatever the hell they called it, because it didn't matter because what it actually was a grift to take all this money, $250 million, and just put it in his pocket. So let's go to some of the details here, more about this because they created the Save America PAC and most of the donations actually went there, not to this made up fund. Let's watch more.
Most of the money raised went to this newly created PAC, not to election-related litigation. The Select Committee discovered that the Save America PAC made millions of dollars of contributions to pro-Trump organizations, including $1 million to Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' charitable foundation, $1 million to the America First Policy Institute, a conservative organization which employs several former Trump administration officials, $204,857 to the Trump Hotel Collection, and over $5 million to Event Strategies, Inc., the company that ran President Trump's January 6 rally on the Ellipse. He aggressively pushed false election claims to fundraise, telling supporters it would be used to fight voter fraud that did not exist. The emails continued through January 6, even as President Trump spoke on the Ellipse.
So again, he knew he lost. He pushed the election fraud anyway, potentially to overturn democracy, but also to make $250 million on the backs of all those people that many would ended up in jail because they decided to run up in the Capitol. But there's one more part about this, because when we're talking about how the money went straight to his pockets, it also went to this rally that fired everyone up. Does that look like election defense to you? But Kimberly Guilfoyle did speak for 2.5 minutes. Oh, I love this part. Let's watch.
Guilfoyle was paid for the introduction she gave at the speech. I mean, on January 6th, she received compensation for that.
But is that a crime?
I'm not saying it's a crime, but I think it's a grift.
Kim Guilfoyle, who's Don Trump Jr.'s fiance, gets paid money for
$60,000 for 2.5 minutes. It wasn't what he said to his donors. This is to defend the election. It was an entirely different purpose. I think that was deceptive and not right.
She thinks it was deceptive and not right. I think that's a pretty good assessment, Francesca.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sad reality is that it doesn't matter to a lot of his supporters. And we've covered these stories for so long. We've covered the story about how the emails were also fraudulent. The emails misled people in terms of whether you clicked a box to be like, no, I don't, yes, also want to donate every month. You know, just the amount of deception involved in Trump campaign fundraising, even before the false claims of a stolen election. And it doesn't matter. These are people who lost their life savings. These are elderly folks. These are people who are on Medicare, right? And some of them want their money back, and others are like, that's part of it. It is me being taken for a ride. And I'm reminded of the NRA and Wayne LaPierre's, like fancy, like however many vacation homes that it was discovered that all the NRA money was being funneled into. And those supporters don't care because it's about the emblem of action. It's not about action. action in and of itself. But to your point about Nina Turner and like things you've donated to, imagine if Nina Turner said, oh yeah, I was never actually running. I wasn't in the race. I was just running. No, this was just for my I don't know, my friend. This is for me. No, we would have it would be insane to say that and to do that. And so every single time we should keep saying it. Let's keep on reporting it. Let's keep on asking Trump supporters to their faces what they think about the fact that Kimberly Guilfoyle got $60,000 for speaking for 2 minutes because he's President Trump's son's girlfriend. I don't know. When will it matter?
Bro, I'm not gonna say, well, if you're gonna give me $60,000 to speak for 2 minutes about nonsense, man. Some may say this show is nonsense if you hate what we're talking about here, but I definitely don't get paid $60,000 for 2 minutes to talk about it. Jesus, if someone has my last thoughts, I'm sorry, we're way over. If someone has a GoFundMe and says, hey, I broke my arm, I need to raise some money because I have no medical insurance and it's gonna cost me $10,000. I can't believe this hospital's doing this to me. And he raises $25,000. And it turns out the dude never broke his arm, put it towards his BMW he wanted to buy off or something like that. Would everyone go, oh, that's great. Oh, good job. Oh yeah, you're just working well. No, I think there's rules against that when it comes to when you're raising money. You can't do that. But Donald Trump will do it. And then everyone that gave him all that money says, thank you, may I have another?
Yes,
that's the situation.
The last thing I'm gonna say is when's the class action lawsuit, right? I know there were complaints. I know there was media coverage on a number of these fraud cases, but it is fraud. That is what it is. You've been defrauded. So what you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do? Just like what Amali Jung Fast asked D'Souza. What you gonna do? Just sit there and bleed?